A mosquito lands on someone infected with dengue. It slides its needle-like mouthparts into the skin and drinks a stomach full of blood, carrying a virus that can put a human in the hospital. And the virus does not simply sit there. It enters the mosquito's gut cells. It multiplies. It escapes through the gut wall, spreads across the body, invades the salivary glands, and waits inside the mosquito's saliva for the next bite. In a human, that same virus can cause intense fever, and in severe cases internal bleeding, shock, and even death. But the mosquito, it keeps flying. It searches for another person, drinks again, lays eggs, and may carry that infection for the rest of its life. So what is going on? Why can a virus be devastating inside us, yet live inside a mosquito without immediately killing it? The answer is not that mosquitoes are magically immune, it is something far stranger. The mosquito and the virus are locked in a biological balancing act. The insect attacks the infection, repairs the damage, and limits the virus just enough to stay alive, but not enough to remove it. Before we get into how, there is an important correction to make. Viruses can harm mosquitoes. Infected mosquitoes may feed more slowly, lay fewer eggs, or die sooner. In one dengue experiment, infected mosquitoes had shorter lifespans, took longer to drink blood, and produced fewer eggs. They are not indestructible little flying syringes. But many survive long enough to bite again, and for the virus, that is all that matters. Because becoming transmissible inside a mosquito is not easy. When infected blood reaches the mosquito's gut, the virus has entered the first room of a heavily guarded building. To reach another human, it must infect the gut, cross the gut wall, survive inside the mosquito's body, enter the salivary glands, and finally escape during another bite. Most germs cannot complete this journey at all. Even for those that can, the process commonly takes around 2 to 3 weeks, and during every step, the mosquito fights back. Its most important weapon is something called RNA interference, or RNAi. Viruses such as dengue, Zika, and chikungunya carry their instructions in RNA. As they copy themselves, they produce molecular patterns the mosquito can recognize. A protein called dicer chops that viral RNA into tiny fragments. Those fragments are then loaded into another protein called Argonaut-2, which uses them like identification photographs. Whenever it finds matching viral RNA, it cuts it apart. In simple terms, the mosquito takes a piece of the invader, turns it into a wanted poster, and sends molecular scissors through its cells looking for copies. And this system is not optional. When scientists disabled key parts of RNA interference in Aedes aegypti mosquitoes, viral levels surged, tissues were damaged, and more mosquitoes died. So the mosquito is not casually ignoring the infection. It is actively holding it down, but then the story gets stranger. Dengue and chikungunya are RNA viruses. They do not normally store their instructions as DNA. Yet infected mosquitoes can create DNA fragments copied from viral RNA. Think of them as molecular records of the enemy. These virus-derived DNA fragments appear to help the mosquito produce more small antiviral RNAs, allowing it to control an infection that may remain for the rest of its life. When researchers blocked the formation of these DNA records, the mosquitoes became extremely vulnerable to viral infection. It is not the same as human immune memory. But visually, it is almost like the mosquito takes pieces of the virus and files them inside a permanent security archive. And the gut has an even more brutal defense. Within approximately 2 hours of exposure to dengue or Zika, some infected gut cells can trigger apoptosis, programmed cell death. The cell destroys itself before the virus can completely turn it into a factory. It is like burning one infected room to stop a fire from spreading through the entire building. When researchers interfered with this rapid cell suicide response, the viruses multiplied more successfully. Of course, a mosquito cannot keep destroying its own stomach without consequences. So another system begins rebuilding it. Dengue infection can stimulate cell division inside the mosquito's midgut, producing replacement cells where damaged ones were lost. Mosquito strains that regenerated these cells earlier were also more resistant to infection. Destroy the infected cells, replace the damaged tissue, continue flying. The mosquito survives by repeatedly tearing down and rebuilding the first organ the virus attacks. But even after all of that, the virus is still there. So why does it not eventually multiply out of control? A study published in April 2026 offers a fascinating clue. Researchers examining persistent chikungunya infection in mosquito cells found that the cells could contain large amounts of viral RNA while producing viral proteins at a limited rate. And that difference matters. RNA is only a blueprint. Viral proteins are the machines, shells, and tools needed to construct more virus particles. The mosquito cell may be holding thousands of blueprints while allowing only one slow production line. In human cells, chikungunya can aggressively hijack the machinery used to make proteins. In the mosquito cells studied, that takeover did not happen in the same way. A similar pattern appeared during Zika infection. The virus was not eliminated. It was placed under a speed limit. This research was primarily performed in mosquito cell lines, so it is not the final explanation for every virus inside every living mosquito. But it may explain how an infection can remain active without rapidly destroying its host. Now comes the biggest twist. Mosquitoes have circulating immune cells called hemocytes. You would expect these cells to hunt the virus, and some of them probably do. But research published in 2025 found that dengue and Zika can infect these immune cells and may use them as transportation. The infected hemocytes help the viruses reach tissues, including the ovaries, and, most importantly, the salivary glands. The mosquito's immune cell can become a Trojan horse, carrying the enemy through the very body it is supposed to protect. That reveals what this relationship really is. It is not a clean victory for the mosquito, and it is not uncontrolled destruction by the virus. Some defenses cut the virus apart, some infected cells sacrifice themselves, fresh cells repair the damage. Viral production is restricted, yet the virus still finds routes through the body until it reaches the mosquito's saliva, and infection may even change the mosquito's behavior. In one experiment, dengue-infected mosquitoes became more sensitive to human odors during a later stage of infection after the virus had been given time to spread through the body. That does not prove the virus is deliberately controlling the mosquito's brain, but it does show that the infection can change the insect carrying it. So why would evolution allow such a strange relationship? A likely explanation is that neither side benefits from immediate destruction. A virus that rapidly killed every mosquito would destroy its own transportation system before reaching another human. To spread, it needs enough replication to reach the salivary glands, but usually not so much damage that the mosquito dies before biting again. At the same time, mosquitoes capable of controlling an infection without completely collapsing would be more likely to survive and reproduce. Over countless generations, the result was not peace. It was controlled conflict. So the next time a mosquito carrying dengue lands on someone, remember what has already happened inside that tiny body. The virus survived the gut. Molecular scissors cut at its RNA. DNA records helped track it. Infected gut cells destroyed themselves. New cells rebuilt the damage. Viral protein production was slowed, and immune cells may have carried the virus toward the salivary glands. The mosquito did not defeat the infection. It kept the infection inside a narrow middle ground, enough virus to remain contagious, but often not enough damage to stop it flying. Mosquitoes are not immune to deadly viruses. They survive by controlling them. And from the virus's perspective, a mosquito that is alive, infected, and still hungry is the perfect host.